Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 239 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott, and I've got Dustin with me. What's going on, man?
For the first time in forever, I'm actually having a cup of coffee during the podcast.
You used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
I wonder if, for a second there, you looked self-aware that you were dancing to no music. And I haven't seen you do that in a while. So I started laughing in the intro. Were you up early? What's the reason for the coffee?
Do you guys have chiggers up north?
Yes. They're not real common around here, but once you get towards the lake and stuff.
Man, it must be because we had such a mild winter, but I've had, from the knees down, crazy bites all over my legs.
Oh, that sucks.
And I'll wake up scratching. So I think I've slept like crap for 2 weeks straight.
Not that this is going to make you feel better for not sleeping, but I have a gross and hilarious chigger story.
Okay.
I cut out most of the details. A few of us were up at my buddy's cottage in the lake, or up in Lake Erie. And we were out late, hanging out, and my buddy needed to use the restroom, number 2. And we weren't anywhere close to the cottage. Well, he ended up with chiggers up his butt. So, yeah, the most uncomfortable next couple of weeks as he had to deal with that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we warned him, just hold it, and he wasn't in the correct state of mind to make that decision, I guess, and decided to
just
make a poor choice. And
oh man,
for it. It was our senior year of high school, so he's in math. The next week's struggling, sitting there in high school. So yeah, watch out for chiggers. You can't even see them really. They're just little bugs that bite like crazy, right? You get them walking through grass and stuff. Like
tiny microscopic little bastards.
We no more bug talk. It makes people get creepy crawly. I was going to tell another bad bug story, but we'll move on from that. But I guess outside of feeling like you need to bathe in calamine lotion, how's the week been?
Other than that, it's been good. I actually got to play some video games. Awesome.
You've been away from them the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have. I got to golf a bunch, and some of the other social stuff I did ties into the podcast. What I've been playing. So, yeah, this week, as far as news, we'll get into that here in just a second. I don't have any shout outs or announcements at this point to make any. We weren't corrected on too much or anything like that, or there wasn't anything that I think I blatantly said wrong. So I think we can jump right into news. And the big story this week has to be that Castlevania just dropped on Netflix. It seemed just out of nowhere. All of a sudden people started talking about Stranger Things. All of a sudden my brother's texting me about Castlevania, and I'm like, when the hell did that drop? Did you get to watch it?
I did.
And what do you think?
I liked it by the end.
Yes. Okay.
I had one nitpick, but by the end of the 4th episode, I was like, okay, I'm on board.
And as far as 4 episodes, it seems like if they get a lot of traffic, they'll kind of continue to go on. I guess there was a season 2 confirmed. I think I heard Jeff Gerstmann talking on the Bombcast about him hearing that they're going to release these episodes in a non-traditional way on Netflix. So if they do these 4-episode chunks, you don't like that?
No, I want all 26 episodes or 13 episodes at one time.
Well, yeah, they'll eventually. I think that I heard maybe 8 to 10 for sure on the second one. So I don't know. Fingers crossed. It's hard to nitpick story stuff with 4 episodes.
Yeah.
There's some things I would like to have explained or whatnot, but they could totally get to that and might. I liked it, and I am excited to watch more.
Same.
They didn't. It was a little different than I was expected, but better than I was expecting, I think.
Yeah.
I was surprised at the way they wrote Trevor. If you would have told me that, I would have been like, that sounds terrible. And
Right.
I thought the actor and the writing actually turned out pretty good. There's some legitimately funny parts, I thought.
Hmm.
And I like the animation and whatnot. I thought it was pretty cool.
And the guy who does Trevor's voice acting is Thorin Oakenshield.
Thorn Oakenshield.
Yeah, from The Hobbit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way. Huh. I would never would have known that.
And I think Dracula is played by one of the other
Another dwarf?
dwarves.
Really?
Yeah. Durin, I think, maybe?
I couldn't. Thorn's like the main one, right?
Yeah. The king.
Yeah. The one that gets all crazy and stuff. And then miraculously just snaps out of it.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed in those Hobbit movies. I thought they were okay.
Yeah, I mean, they were more Peter Jackson, Tolkien stuff, so I was happy to get it.
Maybe it's just because I was twice as old, but yeah, it was better than not having anything. I just didn't. Other than like the birds, I didn't find myself during those Lord of the Rings movies going, "Oh, come on, that doesn't make sense." Whereas, like in The Hobbit, they survive waterfalls and barrels and whatnot, like just some silly stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot more like swashbuckly.
Yeah, that's all right. I still have the extended versions on Blu-ray, so I couldn't hate it that much, right? But yeah, Castlevania's out on Netflix. Check that out, and hopefully we'll get that second season soon. Something tells me that they've already made a lot of it, right?
4 episodes, man. Come on.
But it proves it's proved it's watchable and good, though.
Yeah.
Maybe it's worth getting a good start to ensure that they're willing to spend more money versus limiting them up front totally. Like, what if we had to get, 26 episodes on a 10-episode budget that now they'll have, a lot more available.
That's a good point.
But you're right. I mean, especially the way episode 4 ends, like, it sucks there's not episode 5.
Yeah.
Because it really, I was into it.
When it turns out they're in the distant future, I was like, what?
Alucard's got like a neon fucking sword or something. Cool. Well, the next news item, Valve banned 40,000 cheaters right after the summer sale. And this is their biggest ban. I think the article on PC Games that I got it, I think they called it the ban hammer. This is their largest ban hammer. But what Valve was able to do is figure out that cheaters will, like people developing cheat tools, they'll wait on these summer sales and buy a bunch of different games on their non-main account to test out the cheats. So Valve was able to identify a lot of these purchases that are solely to test cheat engines. And 40,000, that's a lot, man.
Yeah.
Is this why I appear so bad in Rocket League? Everyone's got like auto-targeting mods
Yes.
put in.
That's it.
I mean, there's nothing else more to that other than it's newsworthy, I guess. That's a big number of cheaters.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like 39,000 CSGO players?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Excuse me. Unless people still play a lot of TF2 or something like that. I'm sure that's really big. Next, this I think shows how light news is this week, but Xbox is going to allow you to gift games to friends, like Steam allows you to do. And it's quite frustrating that this isn't common. Blizzard, you can't do it. You have to like buy a physical card at a GameStop or whatever and mail it to somebody, or scratch the code off and email it to them or take a picture or something. You can't just buy them loot crates through Overwatch, which I kind of like to do. I mean, if you got a friend that's all you have in common, it's a cool way to like But yeah, Steam allows you to do it, and it's great. I've bought a lot of games for people. It's fun. And you can now do that, or coming soon, you can do that on Xbox.
That's a great way if you're super into a game and you want to play it with somebody. You can be like, hey, dude, I bought you this copy of this game. You want to play it with me?
Do you think Microsoft will start doing those 4-packs like Steam will do? Will they give you a discount if you buy four copies to give out?
If this does well, yeah.
I love that.
So.
That's such a cool way to approach that stuff. You're right. I mean, there are definitely times where I would gladly pay $20 to just be able to play this with somebody.
Yeah, like instead of the Halo 6 cat helmet or some weird statue, you spend $120 and you get 4 copies or 3 copies.
And then, that'd be awesome. And it also, I think, would convince people to lock into a platform based on one decision maker. If they can sell one game, they might have a huge domino effect more than they kind of do now.
Yeah.
Like if I would totally be willing to spend $20 to buy someone Rocket League if they don't have it on the right platform. So cool, Xbox, that's awesome. The next article, do you happen to see this at all?
Owlboy devs leave some glitches alone for speedrunners. That's really cool,
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's timely because Summer Games Done Quick just ended. Right? Did you just end? There's been a lot of videos posted. I know that much. I didn't dig into the article. It was from Kotaku on what things they left alone. But I really need to finish this game so I can. I love watching speedruns. It's so cool to watch people like break a game. I'd love to see how they did it in Meat Boy.
I love breaking games.
Yes, you do. There are a lot of videos of you doing that. It's awesome. Yeah, good on the Owlboy guys. And then the last thing, Megaman Maker is there's a fan-made game called Megaman Maker, and it lets you, a la Mario Maker, do Mega Man levels with 1 through 6 assets.
That's awesome.
I believe it's going to be a PC thing, and I can't imagine the UI being that great, but maybe it is okay. The Wii U gamepad was just perfect for Mario Maker.
Yeah.
It was just so quick and simple.
Capcom's not going to be doing it. Might as well let the fans.
So I wonder if maybe they just won't even... Maybe they'll let this one just kind of float around.
They'll probably spotlight it for the next anniversary, like they did with that last one.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Mega Man's 20th anniversary. Was it the 20? No, was it 25th? Is that the one they...
I don't remember.
It was like they totally forgot about it.
Yeah, Mega Man versus Street Fighter or something like that.
Was that? Yeah, there was like a fan game like that, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So, yeah, Mega Man
Maker.
Maker.
I remember that being backed by Capcom and thinking, oh, that must be great. And playing it and feel like, wow, this feels like a fan game that somebody made.
And then it was. Yeah, I mean, this is totally ringing a bell. I feel like specifically you talking about it seeming like they did forget about Mega Man legitimately. Like, oh, yeah, it's 25 years. Like someone in the office said, are we going to do anything with this? It's next week. You said something like that. I think this is exactly what it was. Yeah. So, Mega Man Maker, I'll be curious to see how this goes. Obviously, it's going to be free right now. I'll have the article linked in the description. But it was from Kotaku, and there's a YouTube trailer and stuff for it. And I think it's kind of cool. You can upload your own levels and share them with people. And it looks like they put together a Patreon to fund this game. And it's they're looking for $15 a month for some people. The game will be free, it says, but they, if you want to help support it, they have a Patreon to do that while it's in development. But it will be free, so you're not like investing in a game.
Man, that's weird. Getting paid to make a game using assets from a company that
you're playing for free, right? That's
weird.
Yeah, that seems like a no-no, right?
Yeah.
Watch Patreon.
I wouldn't want to have to pay a lawyer to defend that.
No, that's like blatant. Like you could very easily say that's creating market confusion. They're using our assets. Hopefully, they just don't care.
All signs point to that.
Yes. I don't know. I guess we'll see when it's out. I'll probably give it a try. I like these funky Mega Man games that come out. You know, I haven't played 2000XX in a while. That like roguelike one that I played with Zarek.
Oh yeah.
I think that's still in early access. I'll have to check that out again. It's been a little while. Yeah, man, that's it for the news. I don't know what else to really talk about. I've listened to some other podcasts or other things in the news, but nothing that I thought, oh, I need to throw that on the show notes. So I guess, yeah, man, let's get into the YouTube channel of the week.
YouTube channel of the week. I picked, let's see, for this week, I'll do, it's been like OG YouTube guys for me this whole week. But I'm going to pick Chris Bucci. I'm pretty sure I mentioned him last week. Spider 1A.
Yes.
He does turbo views. Talking about him and having my Turbo Duo out for repair. I've been wanting to watch a bunch of old Turbo Duo stuff, and I've gone through like half of his catalog at this point.
Any updates on that, by the way?
No, I actually misread the time frame. I said it would be done in like a week. He said from the time that he gets it, it will be 3 to 7 days before he starts to work on it.
Oh, okay.
So it probably will be back to the timeline that I was expecting.
Okay. Which is still it's what you were expecting, so no problem.
Yeah. So it's not a huge disappointment. I did follow the tracking number. It got there Saturday.
Okay, so timer stops. Or starts. You got your little you go watch your sundial. You'll email him like a minute past 10 days. Like, updates?
Yeah. But yeah, Chris Bucci. I picked his Gate of Thunder review because I think it's probably his funniest work.
Yeah, I did not go and watch any of the Spider 1A stuff though after last week, so I can't comment. So I trust you. You do a good job digging stuff up. Outside of Turbo Duo stuff, what else? Is he only games? Does he do movies or TV or building stuff?
He has a separate channel for pinball. He does pinball machines.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those are fascinating pinball machines.
Yeah.
I love to play pinball. I know Zarek hates pinball, but I think it's really fun. I don't want a pinball machine because they're so expensive and hard to maintain. There's so many little moving parts and stuff. After Kevin asking us about arcade cabinets, I did start looking at this refurb place there's this dealer in Illinois, and he hand makes with templates old arcade machine cabinets and he'll load it up with like a 16-1 board. But he also collects and restores them as well. And
that's cool.
I was back looking at his Facebook page like, oh, Illinois is not that far away. Because he'll deliver free to Indiana, so I could just meet him somewhere in Indiana. Which, a couple hours for me. I can't quite do it. I have house repairs. I need gutters. I need driveway stuff. But I also need a Pac-Man, so I don't know.
Yeah, when you're tired from making those repairs, and you take a break, playing some video games.
That's true. And his Miss Pac-Mans are looking so good. So, I got to stay away from that. Well, Good deal. I guess you said you mentioned that you got to play some games this week.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been playing, man?
Again, in anticipation of my Turbo Duo coming back, which I'm really expecting good news. Hopefully he's not just going to be like, yeah, it's
hosed.
nothing I can do. Or just, thanks for the system, sucker. You're never seeing it again.
I doubt that's the case, but...
Yeah, same. Fingers crossed. But, yeah, I've been playing... I went on my old Wii games, virtual console games, which I had more than I remembered. I was like, man, I got a lot of good games here. But Ease Books 1 and 2 were one of the ones that I downloaded. And I started playing through those.
So, is this 2 games? Or is it 1 game and there's 2 chapters? I always assume this is 2 full cartridges, 2 full releases. And it just dawned on me. I almost always see it Ease Books 1 and 2. I never hear like Ease 1 or Ease Book 2.
You're actually right. It's 2 games.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. It came out on the Sega Master System and the Famicom and maybe the X6800 as 2 different games.
Okay.
And then it was ported to the Turbo Duo. They took those games and smushed them together and put them on one disc.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. And I've watched reviews of the Master System Ease before, so I'm mildly familiar with that. That's a gorgeous looking game.
Yeah. The Turbo Duo versions are considered the best version of them.
Is it because of like translation? Did they fix mechanics? Does it run better? Do you know like
a little bit of that plus the CD audio?
Oh, okay.
The soundtrack is amazing.
Cool.
Especially the second one.
So I guess without getting into like major spoilers, what's the general premise? Ease is also fantasy, right? It's not okay.
You play as Adol Christian, and you are an adventurer. And you roam the land and fix people's problems.
Okay.
And you show up at this place in a boat, and they're like, yo, we need your help. And he's like, well, I can stab things for you. And that's what you do the whole game.
Is it Zelda combat? Or is
it's even simpler than that. All you really do is just run into enemies.
Oh, okay. So is there randomness? You just straight run into them?
Mm-hmm. You run into them, and there's kind of a dice roll depending on your position.
Okay.
And it will either hit them, hit you, or deflect the attack.
You know, Crypt of the Necro Dancer, that rhythm roguelike dungeon crawler, that's how you attack in that game, is you run into enemies from different directions, and they have different patterns, and you manipulate the rhythm of the game to get yourself in good position. Huh. I mean, I know this isn't a rhythm game or anything like that. It's just the idea of smashing into an enemy and not using any sort of like an A or an attack or something like that. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around at first because there's no attack button. You just run into dudes.
So how do you like upgrade your stuff? Is it just loot based, or do you like complete quests and like get a reward?
So there are 3 sets of armor, shields, and swords in the first town that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy those, and then there are 2 more of each that you just happen upon, I think.
Is 3 like this? From a combat perspective, do you know?
3 is actually like the Zelda 2 Adventure of Link of the E series.
Okay, because I have that on Genesis. I think on like a multi-cart.
Yeah.
I think so. I might even have the real cart.
Yeah, it's from a side view perspective. There's a jump button, an attack button.
I got it just remembering Hugh talk about it. Hugh Johnson from Retro League, and it was like $4 or $5. I'm like, oh, well, maybe someday.
Yeah, I've been playing that on the Wii, and I've been looking at eBay prices. I've been looking at so much eBay stuff.
Uh-oh.
Just be like, man, I could actually buy some more games if I. It'd be great. Because I've been looking at all these other videos, and I'm like, well, there's this. This game is Japanese, and I've been looking at hiragana for the past 18 days straight,
So
and
now
it's
you can recognize
side-scrolling.
it.
Yeah, and I have gotten to where I see something written in hiragana, and I recognize the characters.
That's amazing.
I'm starting to get there.
That's very fast. Considering,
Most of the time, I can't tell you the sound they make,
okay,
but I still recognize them.
if you have a pen and paper, you can get around Tokyo.
Yeah.
You just pretend you can't talk, right? So
So throwing some content, and then I'm screwed.
what is it that different?
So this is 18. This is someone who was 18 days into a free app on his iPhone.
Okay,
But
so, disclaimer.
right, what it seems to me is that hiragana is like making letters in sign language, and kanji is like using words in sign language.
I can wrap my mind around that.
Okay, I think.
So I've been watching Planet of the. Well, I got Planet of the Apes on mine, so signing is. I'll buy into that. Whatever.
I was thinking Congo. Pretty Amy.
Oh, Pretty Amy, yes.
Pretty Amy want raindrop drink.
I loved that movie. It is bad. I loved that movie when I saw it.
It's like the 90s wrapped up in a pot.
It kind of is. I tried reading the book and it was too dense because I was like 11 or 12 or whatever. But the movie was so good. Like the premise is just sort of weird.
Yeah.
You're right. The 90s just wrapped up. The evil dad who's like, no, screw my son. I want you to just get crystals.
Yeah.
I'm going to make his fiance go look for him. Well, it doesn't make any sense.
Because, let's see, it had Bruce Campbell at the start. Tim Curry's there.
Tim Curry. Is Ernie Hudson in that?
Ernie Hudson, yeah.
What's the blonde lady's name?
Is that...
It's not the Jurassic Park lady, and it's not Helen Hunt. I can picture her.
It's that third 90s blonde actress.
Right?
I can IMDb it.
Yeah. It might not even be... She might not even be a name I recognize.
She was in The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Okay. I haven't seen that. Uh-huh. So while you're also looking at eBay, what are some of the... Or IMDb, what are some of the eBay games you've been considering?
Oh, Laura Linney, yeah.
Okay, all right, I have heard that.
Okay, so... I have a game called Shockman on HuCard.
Okay.
And the Japanese... So that was... Shockman is Shibibin Man 2 in Japan. And Shibibin Man 3 is on Turbo CD. So I could actually play that region free.
I hope that you, above all else, are actually pronouncing that correctly. Shabuma Man? Is that...
Shibibin Man, I think.
Shibibin Man. That sounds like something from a 90s like Budweiser commercial. Shibibin Man. Shibibin Man. Okay, well, so what's Shibibin Man? What's it play like?
It is a like side-scrolling Megaman.
Okay.
That kind of it'll turn into a shooter on occasion.
If you were to tell me Shibibin Man was anything, I would guess a knockoff of Mega Man. So, okay. But you have the non-Japanese one, right? Is that what you said?
Right.
All
I own Shockman.
So, is that the only one that you're really tempted on?
I actually made an offer.
Oh, how? What's like an acceptable range on that game? Would you say?
It goes for about $30.
Oh, okay.
It's not super at a ridiculous price yet. Not like Kazakiri Ninja Action.
Is that another one you're looking for?
Yeah, that's like $160.
Okay.
Or Rinny Blaster.
Is that a shoot 'em up?
No, that's another side scroller.
That's how
that game will cost you
up.
$500.
Damn.
Yeah. Right now I'm looking at there are a couple of copies of Sid Meets Terraforming on eBay, and they're both listed at almost $800. And I'm just seeing if anybody's gonna actually buy one.
What do why is the TurboGrafx and the PC Engine so expensive?
Because nobody bought it.
Yeah, but I guess it's still got to be good enough then, right? Because if it sucked, people wouldn't be doing this. I mean, like the Neo Geo is still really expensive, but no one could buy that.
I would say most of the expensive games are worth it. Well, I mean, are good games. I whether or not Magical Chase is worth $4,000 to you, and if you're not on the Fortune 500, then probably not. If $5,000 sounds like a lot of money, then you have better things to do with your money.
How do those controllers hold up?
So far so good. About like Nintendo controllers.
Okay, they're more like the. Do they have the Master System 1 and 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And does the TurboGrafx, do you have to daisy chain 2-player controls?
No, you need a Turbo Tap.
Okay.
Out of the box, you can only use one controller.
That's what okay. I knew there was something funky with that.
Yeah.
Cool. You've also been playing another, this one I think you might be able to pronounce correctly, but maybe not. I don't know how to pronounce it the right way.
Shuikoden.
What is it? What?
Shuikoden.
Enunciation, please. No, I'm kidding. Shuikoden. This is Game Dave, is how I learned about the depth of this series. His video on it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, he did a retrospective on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's the one who made me buy this. Because I was like, man, that looks great. It's a Konami JRPG. And then I looked on eBay and it was like $20. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. The sequel's like $150 or $200.
It's insane that these things cost so much. It's a plastic and a chip with software that's freely available. It's crazy. But that doesn't make any sense, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Suikoden, you said it's a JRPG. Is it different enough than Ys?
Yes. These two are like Ys is an action RPG. Suikoden is like straight up turn based.
Okay.
Like run around, get into a random battle, go to a different screen, turn based battle, back to overworld map.
I didn't realize Konami did it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The music is, you can tell.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Amazing music. Oh my gosh. I've only been to like 3 places and I'm like I don't want to leave because it sounds so good.
Are there other Konami JRPGs I may have heard of?
I don't know. I don't think they made too many.
Maybe it's one I've heard of. That. Yeah, I had no idea that they did Suikoden. But it has me a little more interested because I do like Konami's music almost always. At least from this era. No luck?
They did Disgaea.
Oh, okay. Heard of that?
I've heard of that. Let me control F here. This is riveting radio right now. Let's see, Shuikoden.
The fact that you are struggling this much to find a lot, I think, answers my question. You know,
Yeah.
that you having to control. If you should be able to, if you typed in Square RPGs, there'd be a whole wiki and every single one of them listed.
Yeah. Oh, Boktai. Yeah, they did Boktai. That was a Hideo Kojima joint. And Lunar Nights.
Lunar Nights I'm not familiar with. Wait, what was it called? Boktoy, right?
Boktai.
Boktai. I was thinking like
That was the one that had
the food.
the sensor in the cartridge where you had to go outside to power up your...
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
It's like those, they did weird stuff with cartridges over there. IREM had those Famicom carts that had a red LED in them.
Mm-hmm.
So you could see that the Famicom had power because they didn't have one on the system.
Vandal Hearts.
Never heard of that.
Azure Dreams.
I've heard of Azure, like Microsoft and Hearthstone Card and NT Creates. Azure's just too common of a word for me to know. I don't know if I've actually heard of that. How many?
It's a shade of blue, isn't it?
Huh?
It's a shade of blue,
Yes,
Azure?
it is. But I mean, it's used in fantasy stuff or video game stuff enough that
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of plenty of Azure stuff, so I have no idea if I've actually heard of that game or not. How many Shuikoden games are there?
At least 4, because I have the PlayStation 2 version of 4
Okay.
behind me.
I was going to say, I feel like I do remember them getting out of those older systems.
Yeah. I think that's about it. Vandal Hearts, Disgaea, Suikoden, Boktai, Lunar Nights.
It's impressive they made a good one then.
Yeah.
You know? Because they probably just played a bunch of them. Dudes were probably just fans and they just wanted to make their own.
Yeah.
How far into Suikoden have you gotten?
A couple hours.
Okay.
Most of that's been grinding and stuff. I'm trying to break the game already.
I was going to say grinding so you can break it.
I got to the
what you do.
first real boss fight, and I beat it with 2 turns. Because I had just sat around and... Because, well, they had this piece of equipment in the first town for 10,000 gold.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'm going to grind until I can afford that. So I did.
And then you broke the game.
Yeah.
And it was probably there to entice you to come back.
Yeah. They should have put it in a different spot then.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. It's their own fault. Yeah, Konami,
Like in
they
Ease.
just don't know how to design a game.
Yeah, Valcom too, because Ease, the first thing you're supposed to do is you go talk to a lady and she's like, go buy a sword and a shield and come back. So I went and I bought the cheapest sword and shield, and then I grind up a bunch of gold until I could afford the most expensive sword that they had available. That was strongest. That cost 6,000 gold. And I was like, well, I may as well just go ahead and get the armor and the shield too.
Of course. Like,
that was an additional 13,000 gold.
You have 4 hours and you haven't gotten past the first lady.
I was just really well equipped by the time I got to her.
There was an inappropriate joke in there somewhere. I get, yeah. I almost don't want you to play the Breath of the Wild. There's too many shiny things for you to be distracted by.
Yeah.
It's a recipe with little sprinklings of Skyrim and Dark Souls in there for you. So that might be the only game you play for a year, other than when Sully's like, "Give me Sonic." I need to get back to that. It was weird. I was listening to the Bombcast today, and the exact part that I've had a hard time pushing through is exactly where Ben and Jeff are stuck with the exact same, like, I feel like I should push through, but I'm really uninterested in this right now.
Yeah. That's the worst because you feel like if you stop, you're going to forget. And if you forgot how to play the game, then you've been away from it for too long. You're just like, well, I'm not going back to it now.
Yeah, I looked and I'm 35 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time to just... And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I tried this certain boss twice, and I felt like I died cheaply, and I've been distracted by other things since. Like, I thought I would be done 2 months ago with that game. And I don't feel like I'm halfway there. So, I don't know. Someday. Yeah, you played anything else?
I installed Prey for the PS4.
There you go. Was there like a free weekend, or did you buy it?
I bought it somewhere. It was on Slick Deals for Newegg. That's where it was.
Gotcha.
It was like $20 or something. I was like, that's a no-brainer.
I hear good things about it. I really don't know what it is, but I hear people talk about it positively.
I need to look into it and see if it's cyberpunk enough for Cyberpunk Saturdays.
Well, I mean, eventually you'll... I know you have a shitload of cyberpunk games, but at some point the line's going to blur a little bit where you'll eventually be busting out Mega Man for Cyberpunk Saturdays, because we all know that Mega Man is technically cyberpunk.
Eventually I'll just be like, well, I ran out of games, guys. I'll wait till a good one comes out, and I'll just play regular games on Saturdays.
That works. That's a long time from now. There are a lot of cyberpunk games.
Yeah, how many of them are good?
That's true. That's for you to answer, I guess.
Yeah. I wonder if Titanfall 2 is a cyberpunk game. I feel like it is. There's like corporations and robots. It's basically all you need, right?
And there's a story.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not?
I own it. I don't know.
You do?
I'll go to Yeah. I'll ask the guys at Neon Dystopia.
If they sign off on it, then you know that it's good. What platform do you have it on?
PS4.
Huh. If I see a deal on that, I'll pick that up. I'd like to... That'd be a fun... You and I are terrible would be terrible at that, just jumping in. It might make for some pretty fun videos. Because we haven't done a co-op video in a long time. We should do that.
God, I think the last one was we beat Portal 2.
Didn't we do some Forza since then?
Was that before or after?
I don't remember. That's how long it's been that we just know it was a long time ago. So, yeah, we need to fix that. We were doing that when... Why weren't we streaming that stuff? We would, like, record it and upload it. It was very strange how we had to do things back then.
I noticed that my bandwidth cap is up to, like, over 1,000 gigs at this point.
Yeah, I saw most ISPs in the U.S. up to a terabyte.
Yeah.
Which still screwed me because I needed to re-back up my entire computer, which is like 2 or 3 terabytes.
Oh.
And AT&T wouldn't let me just buy an extra month of unlimited. Like, why couldn't I just sign for unlimited for a month? They're like, nope, new contract.
Bastards.
And oh, great, your webcam just spun out. It's Net Neutrality Awareness Day. AT&T heard me talking shit, and they're like, shut it down. You're done. It knows. So cool. Well, I guess as far as I started playing some more Rocket League, and like I'm gonna leave it installed just because some of Tony's friends have it and play it on Xbox, and I'd mentioned that Jeremy at the Cartoon Retrocast that he has it on Steam, so I'm gonna leave it installed to play with those people. But it's horrible to play competitive matches. It sucks, and now I know I'm bad, but so is everybody else. I'm at the bottom of the rankings. Like, nobody's good, so it's just completely toxic. Everybody sucks. Everybody's... It's...
people got to come out of the woodwork and ruin everything.
I just wish that there was a queue where you had to wait, but there was no... Like a quick match that you're not allowed to leave. An unranked matching system that you can't drop out of without penalty.
Like, if you drop out of this, you won't be able to sign in for like 30 minutes.
Exactly. Something like a penalty for doing that.
Yeah.
But the thing is I want people to start the same game that they finish in. And if you go on casual, you can get lumped into a game where someone dropped out of. Like, and that's why I play ranked, is so that I have that structure that I really want.
Mm-hmm.
But then chat's just awful. So, but on a positive note, I played some Overcooked this weekend.
Okay.
Did you hear anybody talk about this when it was out? It was kind of a big, I felt like a hot game on PS4.
Is that the one that's like Diner Dash but multiplayer?
I don't know Diner Dash, but probably where you're cooks and you have to make food to appease restaurateurs, I guess. But it's hard. You have to make meat. It's an assembly line, and it's all chaotic, and it's hard, and it's really, really, really fun, and it's really good. Yeah, like, so, for example, you'll get an order in for soup. So you need onions for soup. So you have to cut 3 onions. So I grab 3 onions, and I have to place them on a cutting board. And then I have to chop the onions. And then I have to take the onions and put them in a fryer or something like that. And the stage changes on you. So sometimes I don't have access to do what needs to be done, but my buddy Eric could. And then the screen would change on you. And it's really hard to figure out a good strategy when the game really ramps up in difficulty. And it's a star-based system, like a lot of mobile games, where if you can get 1 star, 2 or 3 stars, depending on how many points you acquire. And what's cool is you lose points as you screw stuff up. So you can do really well, and then it can get, like, I Love Lucy style out of control on you. And your points just start, like, going down real crazy. So, Overcooked is excellent. I bought it on PC. I'm sad it's just taking me this long to play it. It's a phenomenal local co-op game. It's really fun. I like working with people in local settings like that. Figuring out puzzles, doing something difficult. Towerfall was like that. You're not puzzles per se, but you remembered enemy patterns and stuff like that. And it was just get better, one more sort of a thing, and it was cool. We got sent a code for a Cave Story on the Switch. And,
Lucky?
Yeah, so Cave Story is awesome. So I'm going to be streaming that maybe tomorrow when I'm done golfing. Did you play much Cave Story back in the day?
I don't think I've ever played it at all.
It was on Wii, PC, and they've had... I want to say it was like an old like Flash game from, I don't know, the Newground days or something like that. And then it got remastered for the Wii, and it's just kind of been around since then on various platforms. And through the iterations, you can change the graphic settings to the old versions or new pixel art versions and stuff like that. And also, you can select different soundtracks that have been previously done in the game. So it's all the same tune, but they have different instrumentation and stuff like that. So I like the newest graphics with the chiptune soundtrack. And I love the music in the game. It controls really well. It's definitely an older Metroid-style game. Because there's no auto-saving, you have to find save spots, which is... it's fine, but it's weird when you're not used to it. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta think about this game differently. And it's got a great mechanic. If you've never played Cave Story, one thing you learn early on, you get a gun, and enemies drop these little triangles that power up your ability to get a gun to be stronger. And when you're hit, you can lose the power of the gun in a way that like Sonic's rings would explode, and you can kind of collect them back and power it back up. And there's just different. It's a really cool, fun platformer game that you have a lot of exploration. It's like Metroid. It's a great soundtrack, good art, and it's I don't know. It's one of those. It's one of the first indie games, I guess, quote unquote indie games I ever remember playing a lot. It ran on my old shitty Toshiba laptop that came with Vista on it. And I had it with like a Logitech like $9 controller that I would look at a Mad Catz and be like, "Oh, that looks awesome." And
R.I.P. Mad Catz.
Yes. I never beat it, but on Steam it said I had 12 or 13 hours in it, so I played a good bit of it. And I couldn't sit down and explain to you anything, but as I'm playing it, I'm getting a lot of those "oh yeah" moments. Like, I forgot about this. Yeah. So Cave Story Plus, it's really good. Also, I've been hooked on Lords of Shadow. Watching the Castlevania series got me in a Castlevania mood. Castlevania Lords of Shadow is a very fun game. You and I both like it. The biggest complaint is that the cameras is very wonky, and you can't use the right analog stick to control the camera. I found a mod that it doesn't allow you to look all the way around with the right analog stick, but it fixes a lot of the camera behavior.
Cool.
And I unzipped the file into the folder and rebooted the game, and the camera is better. It works well. And the devs, I'm playing it on Steam, and I've got the remastered edition, and they support 4K in the game now. And because of my graphics card, I'm able to do that super sampling. So it's an older game that takes not very much processing power for the graphics card that I have. So I'm able to render the game at 4K, and it compresses that information into a 1080p signal. So you get these really sharp, great-looking graphics, even though it's only 1080p. It's like they process more pixels, or not necessarily pixels, but it crunches the stuff down so you get more detail. It's it's higher resolution. You can just see a little difference to it. It actually is different. And I left the fraps counter up, and it's holding a great frame rate. It was the best looking 360 game I had seen in my up to that point. Actually, when I played it, it was the best looking video game I had ever played. But that was in 2010 or 11 or whatever. So you would expect that a current PC would chew through that, and it does. And that, I don't know what it is about that game. It's a God of War clone. There's Assassin's Creed platforming, and a lot of story and quick time events. It's got a lot of stuff that I don't know. I'd be so on, but it's great. I love that game. It's really good. It's long, but it's good.
I think it's the main thing for me is the art direction and the story.
Yeah, I do like the story.
That game looks amazing.
It really does. It's holding up very well.
Yeah, man, that game looks great.
And it still does. And in the Ultimate Edition, they toned back the highlighting every single edge. So it feels a bit more natural. It's a better experience on the Ultimate Edition if you can play it. Wasn't that annoying? It's like, obviously I know that you don't need to highlight all three of the rungs I need to jump on.
Right.
Just give me the first one. I can see the window. Like they definitely treat you. They have a little bit more respect for the players in this version. You can change the difficulty on the fly, which I did need to do because I kept running around a spot and some enemies respawned. And so eventually I was like, I'm dying while I'm exploring. I can't have this. But then it's got like Shadow of Colossus, like giant beast fights and really satisfying upgrade path. That happens really quick. And you just feel badass as you unlock stuff. And all you're doing is button mashing.
Yeah.
But I do like it a lot. And I've really been enjoying that. And putting a mod on was fun because it's super easy. And it didn't cause any funkiness. There was one checkpoint where you could feel the camera shifting a little bit. And I had to like run around it so it would stop doing that. Yeah. And I'd never had that on the regular version before. So that's got to be the mod. Like causing some funky stuff. But it was pretty good.
The drunk cameraman mod?
A little bit, yes. Yeah, the drunk helix. Also, because I've been in a Castlevania mood, last night I streamed Castlevania 3. This time, Dustin, I had my microphone on, and I didn't last time. I turned the scan lines off because they do not stream well. I don't think it looks very good after the YouTube stuff. In person, the AVS scan lines look amazing. They are the best implementation of that I've ever seen. But I did not like the way that first video I did turned out. So this time I played it for 2 hours, and I was really lucky. There were some really fun people in chat that were big Castlevania fans. So the fact that they stuck around and watched me for a while made me feel pretty good. Yeah. One guy, Chris, that had joined, actively would do speedruns on Castlevania 1, and his personal best is 13 minutes and 38 seconds.
Oh. If he improves that by 1 second, we will formally back him.
Oh, yes. We will sponsor him. Now, he can't get any faster or he loses his sponsorship.
That's right.
I never know if it was true, but I always heard, who had was it Joe DiMaggio that had who had the hitting streak? I forget at the moment, but the person that had the hitting streak record in baseball and still does, is it Joe DiMaggio? No, I don't think it is. It's going to drive me nuts. I don't know that off the top of my head. But the streak is 56. And apparently Hines had a big 57 campaign all worked out, and it didn't come to fruition.
Oh.
Was it Mickey? No, Mickey Mantle had 60. God, who had this streak? Ted Williams? No? I'm embarrassed. I can't believe I don't know this. Oh, well. But nonetheless, yes, if it's too bad that Chris wasn't a second faster, that would have been cool. I thought you knew like the world record off the top of your head. Didn't even dawn on me. 1337. Also, Marco was Marco was in there. He was really big into retro stuff and knew a lot. I was shocked at how much people knew about the nuance between Dracula's Curse and Akumaju Densetsu, whatever it's called in Japan. There was another person, Rochester, that was there. That was really fun to talk to, and I don't know. It just was. It was cool to have knowledgeable people about Castlevania be in the chat, helping me out and whatnot. And I didn't play bad enough for them to go away, so I will certainly take that.
I watched part of that. Mm-hmm. I need my glasses. But actually, someone said that there was a Famicom Disk System version of Akumajo Densetsu, and there's not.
I thought I didn't want to get in an argument. You heard me say I corrected him, right?
Yeah.
And then he was so matter of fact in chat, like, no, this is true. I'm like, okay, all
right, killer, take it easy.
Well, no, it wasn't that, but I wanted to be like, I really wanted to be like, well, actually, if you listen to podcast episode 232, Dustin covers this. I made the same mistake you did, because I wanted to go into the whole explanation of. Well, I do have Castlevania 1, and that is a Famicom Disk System release, and that does allow you to save. But I'm pretty sure that I thought that was the case on 3, and was corrected by the biggest Castlevania fan that I know, and decided not to.
Koji Igarashi, and then me.
Pretty much, right?
The Castlevania fans go.
And you're such a fan. He couldn't improve it enough.
Right.
He changed the series. Did not in the right. Not good enough. He didn't do Rondo, so no, he wasn't involved in that. Wasn't Symphony of the Night his first one?
I think Symphony was his first as a director, and I think he was a producer on Rondo.
Oh, was he on Rondo? Okay, all right. I take it back. You can, because they are tied together so closely. Especially Symphony of the Night, the beginning of that and whatnot. But I got to tell you, man. Konami, talking about that era, they did some really cool stuff with their hardware when it comes to their cassettes or their cartridges. Really neat sound channel stuff. I want to say that the full capability that is possible in Castlevania 3 on Famicom are the exact same restrictions that Jay Kaufman used in order to make Shovel Knight soundtrack.
Okay.
Because there was that one extra channel that was added in on the Konami carts that allowed... he was able to manipulate it in a different way. Major Third on YouTube has an excellent video explaining this, because this would be like me trying to explain astrophysics. Like, it's just... I can tell you what a quark is, but I can't explain it. You know, like something like that. So, yeah, Major Third on YouTube if you're curious about... I guess the limitations of the Konami cartridges that Jay Kaufman used. But it's incredible how good that stuff sounds. It really is awesome. And Castlevania 3 is ridiculously hard at times.
Yes.
Well, unfairly hard. One of the people in chat kept calling it like Ninja Gaiden moments.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It was just like, that sucks. The stairs are brutal in that game. But I keep assuming that I would get knocked off of the stairs, and you don't.
Right.
But making turns, if you try to go backwards and forwards near or at the top of stairs, you have a good chance of it doing 100% opposite of what you want, and it usually results in a death.
Yeah.
Try to turn around at the top of the stairs, you just walk off a ledge. It's like, God damn it. But the music's amazing. I didn't realize, though, I watched a speed run from Games Done Quick and took a lot of tips from that guy, but he was doing a Trevor-only speed run. So, I skipped Grant. So I didn't get Grant, which I really would have needed later for some later levels. And then I get to Sypha, and it's in Japanese. And I don't know how to accept or decline her invitation to join the party. Left it up to chat, and they said up, and they were correct. All I could see was an exclamation point, and I'm like, yes. And then she shook his hand.
That always cracks me up because Trevor puts out his right hand, and she shakes with her left hand.
Oh.
So it's kind of a weird handshake.
It's Curb Your Enthusiasm, the most recent season. There's a one-armed man, and Larry David has a conversation about having to shake his hand because all he had was his left. What a show. So, yeah, Castlevania 3 is amazing. It's a really, really good game. I like it the best of the NES ones, even though it's maybe a little more difficult at times. I love the music. I love the gameplay. It's good. Which is that your favorite one of the three, or do you like the first one the best on the NES? Or do you like 2? I know you like 2, but I just assumed it wasn't your favorite.
I think I like 1 the best, and then maybe 2 and 3 equally.
Okay.
Tied for second.
Yeah, I think Marco in the chat had talked about loving all of them.
Yeah.
I'm pointing out that he didn't care what people say about 2. And other than some of like the annoying things, the music's still great, and it still plays like Castlevania.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you know what you're doing, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So that's what I've been up to this week playing. Let's get to our YouTube comments, and then we'll call it a show. If you'd like to write us an email, we read emails on air. So if you'd like to have us talk about something, You can send that to classicelite@gmail.com, classic L337. Or if you're watching this on YouTube and you'd like us to talk about something, you can leave a comment in the video, and we will go over that as well. So, all right. Do you want to take the first few, and then I'll take the second batch from Dumez?
Yeah, we'll read. I'll take. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's see. Dumez says you gotta let Dustin Jr. hold his own sparkler. It was so fun as a kid, basically getting a free pass to play with fire. Has he held his own? I think he did.
I thought there was some sort of magic to sparklers where they couldn't burn you.
Oh no!
Never got burned.
Wow.
But I never just put my hand around it either.
Right.
But
just let the sparks hit them.
Yeah.
Hit your hand.
Well, I think that was the thing is that the sparks didn't hurt, and then also I totally had dropped them in grass before and it didn't ignite.
Yeah.
I understand now, as not a 5-year-old, why that is, but because they're lush, fresh grass in Ohio, it's hard to catch that on fire. Yeah, how silly! Like they make them look that safe that that's cool.
Okay, let's see. He goes on to say about the Sega games thing. Maybe the complaints are because it is not emulation. So the games are a little different. So people complaining because they are ports, maybe?
Yes, it's definitely a port. But it feels exactly how I would expect it to feel.
Yeah.
It's got to be the controller thing. Or I've only played Android, and every person that I've heard has played it on iOS. And maybe it's not performing well on iOS.
Maybe so.
I don't know. My gut tells me though it's the fact that I did controller, use a real controller.
It's always going to be better.
Yeah,
that's people. That's other people's problem. Let's see. Cool Sega Genesis story. I was babysitting for my brothers. His baby one night as he went to bingo. Nothing was unusual that day. He comes back with a box in his hand, a brand new launch era Genesis.
The Sega Genesis.
Oh, okay, yeah, a brand new launch Sega Genesis. Randomly out of the blue, he impulse bought a Genesis while he was out. Charged a credit card, did not have the cash even. He let me be the first to open it up and hook up and check out the bundled game Altered Beast. For a couple of hours, I loved Altered Beast. Very nice graphics, blew me away, but I soon realized after just a couple of hours, oh crap, I think it cut off. Did it keep going?
Yeah, he said after a couple hours, I mastered the game and realized I could beat it every time already.
Why YouTube does that. Let's see. He goes on to say ARMS is awesome. I've been playing on the couch with 2 of my nephews and 2 sets of Joy-Cons. Motion style, really refreshing, so new and fun, and great strategies in it.
Awesome. I think ARMS does look fun. If I had people to play with, I think I'd really enjoy that game. I mean, that you got that HD control, man. You can feel what knuckle hit them. The HD rumble so good.
SNES Mouse. I had one back in the day. The best games for it: Might and Magic 3, Isles of Terra, and you got to check out King Arthur's World with the mouse.
All right. See, look at all this I'm learning.
Yeah.
I thought it was Mario Paint or bust. He also says the first Planet of the Apes of the current reboot series made me cry a little. It has some sad parts. It definitely does.
Is that the James Franco one?
Yes.
Okay.
It really... Your expectations are so low. I'm positive you would enjoy the movie. It's got a lot of story elements that you tend to like in games. And the acting is great. And the visuals are good. And yeah. Someday you'll give me a verdict. I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
He also says, check out Starsky and Hutch on PS2. If you do 2 players, then player 1 can drive, and player 2 can shoot the gun while aiming at the screen. That is cool. You can use a PS2 gun. I didn't even know they had a PS2 gun.
probably came with Time Crisis.
That's pretty rad to have player 1 drive and player 2 shoot.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Was it Lucky and Wild, the arcade game that did that?
I have no idea. I don't know if I've ever seen that in an arcade game. Lucky and Wild. Sounds like a place in Windsor you go to for after hours. He asked if we've checked out Astyanax. Astyanax. Astyanax? I don't know. For the NES, I have not. He says it's a great game. It plays almost identical to Legendary Axe on, I'm guessing on TurboGrafx 16. He says so much that... What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He says so much so that I'm guessing it's the same developer. I have not. Have you played this?
Yeah.
On either?
Mm-hmm. And this is definitely one of those Mandela effect things because I owned it as a kid and I played it all the time and I could have sworn it was Astyanax. And I grew up one day and, well, I mean, I didn't grow up one day. I grew up and then one day I realized that...
You went to the fair and played a little piano with your feet and you woke up?
Got big. I saw the Y in it for the first time. I was like, oh, Berenstain.
I just recently had somebody ask me about that. Did you ever hear about this? And it was somebody, I forget. But I wanted to be like, I know you've listened to this show, and I know that we've talked about that. We named an episode after it. Okay, and then he also says, yes, I agree. Nintendo, please stop trying to make me buy Balloon Fight. So he agrees with you. And then also, Dumbass says, Mr. Doe, it was an awesome arcade game. Oh, that's one he would pick. He says it was an awesome arcade game. He said, I had the real cab many years ago before it died, and I got really good at it. Once you figure out how the scoring and free lives work, it has a ton of strategy. Tonne of strategy. He says Tonne is Canadian for ton. So that's the conversion. It looks so much like Toonie. Toonne. Or Toone. I don't know how you spell Toonie over there. But that's a little $2 coin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think they have ones and $2 bills. I think that Canadian dollars start at 5 with bills. That would, if you are anti-debit card, but you're American, if you move to Canada, you'll jump on board with that debit card real fast. You know?
Yeah.
You sit the wrong way in a seat, you lose $5. You're like, that's it, done. Mr. Doe, I've never played. I believe it's but it's an uncommon game. I think that arcade podcast that I used to listen to a lot called the Arcade Outsiders, they talked about this game on more than one occasion. So, yeah. I remember them having good things to say about it. Another one that they talked about that seemed like a really underrated, unknown arcade cabinet was a game called Zookeeper. You ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It looked really fun. I had never heard of it either. It's an uncommon one. It's too bad it just wasn't popular, so it got converted a lot. Even though it was a good game, it just didn't sell. So, all right, well, that's gonna be it for this week's show. Dustin, anything else you want to add before I run into our schedule and social media stuff?
I got an email that Master Boot Record has a shirt.
Oh,
yeah, $19, black T-shirt with his logo on it.
I was gonna say his album art is awesome.
Yeah,
so I would imagine the shirt's pretty badass. I had a Master Boot Record come on with my brother a couple months ago, and we're in the middle of talking, and he just stops and he's like, "This is awesome. This song." I'm like, "Yeah," because I mixed it in with a bunch of other '90s stuff that we were playing. like Soundgarden or Tool or STP and stuff like that. And I just slipped that into the playlist, and it fit right in, even though it's like metal chiptune or whatever. He likes that real, those long form songs as well. We both hooked on that, that's what this week's music is going to be, something like that. So yeah, Master Boot Record. Go to his Twitter or his Bandcamp. If you type in Master Boot Record, you'll find his Bandcamp and his Twitter and stuff. And yeah, go support him. He makes really good music, and frequently, that dude must just make music all day long.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love the crunch he gets. It sounds like a hard drive.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Have you ever seen that hard drive medley where it like plays music with like 50 hard drives? I don't know. He has that crunch to it, and I really, really enjoy that. I guess as far as our schedule is concerned, if you'd like to catch us outside of the podcast and watch us play games, Mondays have been open. Poor Tony's getting stretched thin at work, so I apologize. Our Monday content has been light. Tuesdays, I'm streaming NES games. Wednesdays, we record the podcast live. Thursdays, sometimes things happen.
Yeah, just depends on what's going on.
That's kind of a free day for us. Fridays, we post the audio version of the podcast and our YouTube archive of the podcast. And then Saturdays or over the weekend, Dustin tries to play Cyberpunk games. It's been light lately, but it sounds like you're getting back to it.
Yeah, we've had, I don't know if I've talked about it, but we were remodeling a bathroom.
You did.
Okay.
I don't want to bring that up. It usually is like a catalyst for divorce, so I didn't want to, pry. I just want to picture your bidet when it's installed. Not you using it. Just,
right.
Pixar, it didn't happen. Also, I want to thank Ben Landis very much for letting us use his theme song Through the Forest as our intro music. Oh, someone in the chat yesterday, I had two really nice compliments. One was, hey, this stream looks awesome, which makes you feel good because it's an old NES cart. And then secondly, I think somebody, maybe they are a regular subscriber and watcher. I thought they had a new name that I hadn't seen. Loved the intro music to our podcast and asked who it was. And it was fun to talk about that. So maybe we got Ben Landis some more money. We sold a couple of albums for him over 5 years.
Yeah.
Something about our theme song reminds me of Easy Lover, that Phil Collins song. With that, I don't know what it is. There's some tone to it or something. And I love that song. So, but yeah, thanks to Ben Landis for letting us use that music. I know, weird tangent. If you like our audio feed, that has music and editing and all that stuff, that is available at our website, classicleet.com, or you can use iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, SoundCloud, or your podcast app. We'll probably have a search feature, and if you type in Classic L337, we'll pop up. Also on social media, we're most active on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, so you just look for Classic Elite at any of those locations, and you'll be able to get a hold of us. Also, a quick reminder, if you are an Amazon Prime person, make sure to subscribe to somebody on Twitch that you like their content. It's a good thing to do. You get to give somebody $5, so go do that. This week, I'll suggest Biff McSkylark, our good buddy. He's been streaming for a year and a half now. He's almost done the 2-year challenge of streaming every day for 2 years. So he would be a good one I would recommend using a free subscription token too. And also, if you'd like to support us, we have Amazon affiliate links below. So if you go to Amazon through our links in the description, we'll get a little kickback if you buy something. And that's going to be it for everything this week. Dustin, this week's song was retweeted by a chiptune artist, not retweeted, but reshared on SoundCloud. Someone named Trey Frey. And I really like a lot of his songs. This is by someone named Truther. They have one song. It is called Earth 2 on their SoundCloud page. And there's something hypnotic about it. It's almost 8 minutes long. and it feels like a 3-minute song. I don't know exactly what it is, but I absolutely love it. So hopefully you will enjoy the song if you're listening to the audio versions. And that's going to do it. So everybody, thank you very much for listening to episode 239 of the Classic Elite Podcast. And we'll see you next week for episode 240.
Boosh.